Alright, I'll continue here. Alright. Okay, this is narrated Abdullah bin Masud. The reason I'm reading this is to show that it says blood clot and clot of blood. It doesn't say leech. Yeah. Okay. I believe this is from Bukhari. Allah's apostle, the true and truly inspired, narrated thus: the creation of every one of you starts with this process of collecting the material of his body within 40 days and 40 nights in the womb of his mother. Then he becomes a clot of thick blood for a similar period of 40 days. So first it's all collected together, and then he becomes a clot of thick blood for a similar period. And then he becomes like a piece of flesh for a similar period. Okay, that time he got a like there. Then an angel is sent to him by Allah, and the angel is ordered to write 4 things: his livelihood, his date of death, his deeds, and whether he will be wretched or a blessed one in the hereafter. And then the soul is breathed into him. So one of you may do good deeds, characteristics of the people of paradise, so much that there is nothing except a cubit between him and paradise. But then what has been written for him decides his behavior, and he starts doing evil deeds, characteristics of the people of hell, fire, and ultimately enters hell, fire. And one of you may do evil deeds, characteristics of the people of hell, fire, so much that there is nothing except a cubit between him and hell, fire. Then what has been written for him describes his behavior, and he starts doing good deeds, characteristics of the people of paradise, and ultimately enters paradise. That's hadith number 430, volume 4, and here is the Arabic for that. That's pretty long here. There's the Arabic for that. And you want to know something? Not only are we blood clots for 40 days, according to these hadiths, but we have absolutely no free will. So why in the hell do we end up in hell? When it's Allah that writes those things. It seems like Allah should be in hell, not us, you know. Okay, here's another one. This is 40 Hadith Nawa'i. On the authority of Abdullah ibn Masud, may Allah Paba, who said, the messenger of Allah saws, and he is the truthful and the believed, narrated to us, quote, verily the creation of each one of you is brought together in his mother's womb for 40 days in the form of a matfa, a drop. Then he becomes an alaka, clot of blood. Not leech? Yeah. Alaka says clot of blood here. For a like period. Then a makadah, a morsel of flesh. For like a period. For a like period. In other words, 40 days. Yeah. Alaka, for a like period. In other words, for 40 days. So you got 40. You got 40. 40. And he was trying to say it was all in 140. Okay. Then there is sent to him the angel who blows his soul into him, and who is commanded with 4 matters to write down his sustenance, his lifespan, his actions, and whether he will be happy or unhappy. That is, whether he will enter paradise. There again, there's no such thing as free will then. It's all Allah doing, guiding on and off the right path. And yet, Allah sends us to eternal hell. Oh well. By the one other than whom there is no deity, verily one of you performs the actions of the people of paradise until there is but 1 arm's length between him and it, and that which has been written overtakes him, and so he acts with the actions of the people of the hellfire, and thus enters it. And verily one of you performs the actions of the people of the hellfire until there is but 1 arm's length between him and it, and that which has been written overtakes him, and he acts like the actions of the people of paradise, and thus he enters it. That's Bukhari and Muslim, and then is the Arabic for that. And all that shows that not only blood clots for 40 freaking days, There's no such thing as free will. And thus, why go to hell? You know? When it's all of that right makes you whether you or believe it or not. Okay, this is Sahih Muslim, the book of faith, Kitab al-Imam. Aisha, the wife of Allah's apostle Papa, reported, the first form with which was started the revelation of the Messenger of Allah was a true vision in sleep, and he did not see any vision, but it came like the bright gleam of dawn. Therefore solitude became dear to him, and he used to seclude himself in the cave of Hira, where he would engage in tanaf, and that is the worship of a number of nights, before returning to his family and getting provision again for his purpose. He would then return to Khadija and take provisions for a like period till truth came upon him while he was in the cave of Hira. Seems appropriate that Allah would come in a dark, creepy place like a cave. There came to him the angel and said, "Recite!" To which he replied, "I'm not lettered." He took a hold of him. The apostle said, He pressed me till I was hard pressed. Therefore he let me off and said, "Recite." I said, "I am not lettered." He then took again a hold of me and pressed for me a second time till I was hard pressed, and then he let me off and said, "Recite." To which I replied, "I am not lettered." And he took hold of me and pressed hard again till I was hard pressed, and then he let go and said, "Recite." I guess he doesn't realize. Yeah. It's actually read, but they have it recite here. "Recite in the name of your Lord who created man from a clot of blood." Recite. Not from a leech-like substance. It says clot of blood. And then there was Arabic, but who cares? Let's see how much time I have left here. I've got some time. You say, now, I'll translate it wrong in English Quran. Really? Again, translations never match the exact words. Of course not. But how could the Muslims who translated all the hadiths that I posted above have it as blood clot into... Yeah, how come all these hadiths have it as a blood clot instead of like a blood clot? Are they actually evil Jews and conspirators who make Mo sound like a caveman? Of course, he sent me an article, a long article that said that they were Muslim, not Jews, and that was a Muslim that said that. So, if there is an issue, we go back to the original word and check what it may mean. Well, do that, okay? All I can say is that it's not just Muslim Book 33 that has an embryo as a 40-day blood clot. And I noticed that the site you sent me made no mention of it being 40 days or not. Instead, it tried to say that the same word can mean a bunch of things, mostly about clinging. Yet, in the very, quote, clear signs, it says, quote, "He who created mankind from a clot of blood," not "who created mankind from a clinging leech-like substance." All Qurans in English say, "from a clot of blood." And then you see more than just Sahih Muslim 33 with this situation as well. It's more than just Sahih Muslim Book 33. Sahih Muslim Book 33 make the same mistake and have it as 40 days. I did reply to that. Reply to it again then, please. You say, why couldn't old Allah have said be, so the quote clear signs? Right. The clear signs make them clear, exactly. They are clear signs and clear words. You can check others if you don't like this one. How is recite, read in the name of your Lord who made mankind from a clot of blood clear? How is it clear when the Quran tells you, a Muslim, to come to me for my reading? Not reciting, but my reading a book, Bible, the before scriptures. All Muslims believe to be corrupted. That's Quran 1094. How is that clear? Best of deceivers. Again, it's wrong translation, and in many translations you can find it better than this word. It gives me something to see. I go, which is, well, put the right translation, okay? You say, and Harat in Hebrew means earth or land, take your pick. So, I didn't know. But still, which land with four corners? Doesn't the Arab Peninsula have four corners to it? And how will you see all the kingdoms of earth from the mountains? Well, Muhammad said something similar about a tree of paradise that would take 100 years to get out of its shadow, yet I don't see you complaining about that. How come? Chapter. In paradise there is a tree in whose shade a rider could travel for 100 years and still not cross it. And there's the Arabic for that. Let's see, how much time do I have left here? I've only got 1 minute here. So the report that Allah's Messenger is saying, in paradise there is a tree, and I'll report it, yeah. Yeah, there is a tree under the shadow which a rider can travel for 100 years without covering the distance completely. This hadith has also been transmitted on the authority of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri and all his apostles. Papa is reported to have said, in paradise there is a tree under the shadow of which a rider of a fine and swift-footed horse would travel for 100 years without covering the distance completely. There would be the pleasure of Allah for the inmates of paradise, and he would never be annoyed with them. But notice that land, ground, and earth are actually related, you say. Sea is also related to earth and earth. So, well, you can check the translation and don't worry about what Muslims say. And I'm sure you will find leech more than clot. I'm sure I will, for it's completely stupid to believe an embryo is ever a blood clot. The thing is, an embryo is not a leech, not even a leech for 40 days either. And where is the word like for like a blood clot or like a leech? If you find it, then why is Surah 96 called the clot instead of like a clot or like a leech? I better end it here. Yeah, I better. Bye.